Hey everyone, Marathon Hurdler here, back with some more Final Fantasy VIII. Last time we continued doing our side quest by exploring Shumi Village and learning a little bit more about Laguna and his past. Today we're going to be continuing with our side quest by exploring the Chocobo Forests. Last time I said that I was going to be able to start and finish this side quest, but I don't think that's going to be possible today. Unfortunately, my schedule has been a bit tight with finals coming up, and so I don't really have an hour plus to finish all of the Chocobo Forest today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it up into 2 episodes, and I'm going to upload one on Friday and one on Monday. And yeah, hopefully that's okay. Like I said, I wanted to do it all in one episode, but my primary objective when I came back from my hiatus was to upload episodes on a consistent basis, and so that to me is more of the priority at this point. So I'm going to do 3 today and then finish everything tomorrow. And yeah, this is the first forest, this is the beginner forest, and I think, I'm pretty sure they intended for you to do the Shumi side quest and then come here, because they have the Shumi village on the map, and then when you go there you can clearly see this forest here. So anyway, what we need to do is talk to this kid here, and he's going to help us get started with this side quest. Yeah, we do want to catch a Chocobo. I never knew I wanted to catch a Chocobo, but now we're going to catch a Chocobo. Huh, well that's nice of you. There's always a catch. Fine. Now, I already know how to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and go through the lecture anyway, just for those of you who want to see it. Yeah, so basically what this is it's basically a radar game. We're going to walk around, use this Choco sonar to find where the Chocobos are, and then we're going to try to find the Chocobos from there. And yeah, and so where the puzzle comes in is when you go to a spot and you find some Chocobos or Chocobos, it's not always going to be the case that you're going to get just one to drop down. A couple might drop down, or if there are some on the ground already, they might pop up after, or the ones on the ground might go back up into the air. And so you have to kind of go back and forth until you have one left. And then when you have one left, then you're done. And you get some prizes for it. Yeah. Alright. Got it. Oh no. Well, we already paid you for the first lecture. Anyway, so this might actually be a little bit tough for me. So first of all, I want to set the Choco sonar. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to. I'll stick with that. Anyway, so yeah, I need to. What am I looking for here? There we go. So what I want to do is, sorry about that. I just kind of screwed up the controls for a second. But what you want to do is you want to walk around until you find the right spot. You're going to push circle to figure out where it sounds. And then what's challenging about this for me is that I can't actually use the sound because I'm using the Elgato Game Capture HD, and unless I want to hear my voice on the playback, I have no way of hearing what's going on. So the key is you can look at the little bar there, and you use that as kind of your indication as to how well you're doing. And so I don't know. I know it's supposed to be here somewhere, maybe a little bit further. And you can kind of tell because when it fills, it'll kind of fill up all the way there, and I think this might be the spot. Let's go ahead and try it out and see if this is the spot. Perfect. And then when you find the one, then you talk to it. So the way you can kind of tell if it's the right spot, and obviously I look like an idiot doing that because I was on the right spot for a while, but then it kind of fills up a little bit slowly. As you can kind of see, it's really choppy right now, right? It's like, but then when you're on the right spot, it fills up like more steadily, and that's how you're supposed to know that you're in the right spot. And It's going to be a little choppy for me because I can't use the sound, but that's how I'm kind of figuring out just by using the visual cues. It'll become tougher with the more difficult forest, but for now it's not that bad. But once you found the one chocobo, then you talk to it and you can say, all right, I'm going to stick around here for a little bit longer. And once you find the chocobo, then you're able to find a prize. You're supposed to be able to find a prize. Let's see, did I get it? Perfect. Yeah, then you use the Choco. So I didn't actually use the Choco sonar there. I kind of used my map to help me, but it's the same thing. And I'll show it off better in the next forest, but it's the same process. You would use the Choco sonar, go to a spot where there might be an item. Once it starts sounding again, the big Chocobo will come and get it for you. So, yeah, that's basically it. And then once I've done that, now we want to ride the Chocobo out of here. And, oh, well, thanks. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna take off now. Why? Oh yeah, so we gave this stupid explanation about this little Chocobo. Completely forgot about this. This was when they originally released this game for the PlayStation 1. They had this little pocket station which you could plug into your PlayStation and you could like do these little weird mini games with it. And it was never really that big. It died pretty quickly, but yeah, he's explaining it now. So we're just gonna skip past all this because it's not relevant at all to what we're doing. You can't do this for the PS3 or for the PS. I don't know if you can do it on the PS2, but you certainly can't do it on the PS3 or the PS4 if you're playing like I am there. And it really doesn't really do anything. It's just I don't even really know much about it because I just never used it. So yeah, you can ignore the Chocobo part, but the side quest that we're doing in catching the Chocobos is what we want to pay attention to. So, right now that we got this Chocobo, we can just get off of it right away and carry on. Now, before I take off, what I want to do is I want to head back here and see if the Ultima draw point is refilled. It should be, and if it is, then I'm going to go ahead and pick up some Ultima spells before we move on to the next forest. And like I said, I didn't do a great job. I didn't do as great of a job explaining it. Oh, it's not full. But I didn't do as great of a job of explaining it as I would have liked to. But hopefully in the next forest I can do a better job. But basically the idea is you use the Choco sonar initially to play this little puzzle where you're trying to get the Chocobos to come up and down until there's only one left on the ground. Once there's one on the ground, you talk to it. The Mama Chocobo shows up. And then once the Mama Chocobo shows up, you can use her to help you find an item by repeating the same process. You use the Choco sonar, find a spot where it goes off, then you get an item. In this case, we got an Aura Stone, which allows us to cast the Aura spell onto any one individual. And what's useful about that spell is that it actually... So the Aura spell, what it does is it makes it possible for you to get your limit break even when you aren't in critical health, which is going to be very valuable for us in the long term. It's not super important right now because most enemies can't do enough damage to kill us anyway. But later in the game, when we are fighting more difficult enemies, we're really gonna want to have the Aura spell. But there are gonna be more effective ways of getting it than just by getting an item. So we'll talk about that later, though. That's not really that important. But those rewards, that's basically the rewards you're gonna get here. You're gonna get a lot of these little stones, which aren't super useful, but at the end of all of this, the final reward we get is pretty useful, and that's why we're doing this side quest. And there's a smaller reason why we're doing this as well, but I'll explain that, I think, in the next episode, some of the benefits of doing the Chocobo side quest here. But yeah, now we're in another snowfield, the basics snowfield, and we're gonna do this again. And this one's a little bit more complicated, so let's see. Yeah, this one's a little bit more complicated, so it'll be a better explanation, or better, give you a better idea of how this is supposed to work. So let's see. First spot's like right here, I think. Yeah, so you can kind of see how it's choppy right now, but then this time it fills up a little more, not there, but there, it fills up more consistently, and then when it gets to the end, it kind of pulses. And that's how you're supposed to know that this is the right spot. So we're going to use the sonar there, and we get a little Chocobo to show up. And now you see there's 3 here. So what we want to do, we want to go back to the Choco sonar, come up to a spot up here, and I think this is the right spot. Yeah, it's kind of tough to tell because these spots were kind of close together, but then we're going to go back to the Chocobo Zinar, or Zener, and you can see one Chocobo goes up. And actually, two Chocobos go up. And so, is that it? I thought there was supposed to be a third spot. Huh. This map must be wrong then, because it indicated that there was... Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry. I looked at the map again, and it's this. There were two spots you could go to. It was either this spot, or there was another spot over here that you could go to, which would lead to the same, which would end up with the same location or same idea. So, all right, now we're gonna go back to the Choco Sonar, and then we want to come to this spot over here. It's somewhere over here. We're close. Nope, not quite. There we go. We were just there. There we go. This is there. That's the spot right there. Now go back to the Choco Zener, and then she'll come over and get us another item. And for finishing this one, we get a Flare Stone. Not super useful. Again, you can cast a Flare spell with that, but we're not really interested for the most part in casting offensive spells in this game, so not super useful for us. But we're done with that, and now we are going to take off and go to our third forest. This is actually going along much faster than I expected it to. I mean, the next couple forests will be much harder, so I still don't think I'm going to be able to finish this side quest today, but who knows? Maybe I'll be able to do more than I thought. At any rate, the next forest that we want to find is on the same continent, but is going to be further east. So let's head this way. Check my map. Yeah, so we want to head towards that dot over there, which is Trabia Garden, if you didn't see my map earlier. Now it's supposed to be, I think, so there's Trabia Garden to the left there, and it's north of that, so I think it is up. Yep, there we go, perfect. I knew it was around here somewhere. So now we're going to head in here. And this is the first slightly more difficult forest, but it's not that difficult still. So this shouldn't take us too long, but let's see what happens. Yep, we're back for more. And so basically what we're doing here is we're going through the forest in terms of from easiest to hardest. And this is our third forest. The roaming forest is what it's called. And we start off with some Chocobos on the ground already. So first things first, as always, Choco Sonar. And the first spot we want to go to is somewhere around here, I think. We were close. There we go. That's the first spot. So Choco Zener. And there's actually a second spot that you could use here as well, but I'm just going to show off this one because I don't think there's any reason to show off another spot. So yeah, now we see both Chocobos go up, and now we need to go back to our Choco Sonar, and our next spot is going to be somewhere around here. Let's see. You can see it's kind of moving a bit. Oh, wait, is that it? There we go. That's the spot right there. So we want to go to catch, use the Choco Zenar, and we get 1. And we get 2 more, so we got 3 total. Now, we have one more spot that we want to head to finish up the map, and it's down here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. So we still want to detect. Let's see, it's around here somewhere. It looked like it was about ready to go off. Almost. A little more south, maybe? There we go, that's the last spot. And then we use the Choco or Zenar there. And wait a minute. That's not right. There aren't supposed to be this many. Did I mess this up? Huh. Maybe that spot I went to was the wrong spot. I did this in the wrong order, I think. Huh. Because there's 2 spots like around here that you could hit, and I may have accidentally hit the wrong one. So I may actually just need to leave and reset this and try this again. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Well, you can see how, I guess, you can see how this can get screwed up. You go to the wrong spot and you end up with more chocobos on the ground than you expected. And I'm sure there was probably a way for me to reset it without having to leave. But, yeah, I didn't want to deal with that. So, let's try this again. Let them leave. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and see if I can find the second spot first. And this, yeah, this is... Yeah, I'm going to see if I can... I'm going to use that second spot that you can apparently use for the first step, which is back here. And maybe that was... I don't know if that's the same spot that I used before. But let's see what happens. So we get another chocobo there. And then to leave, and now we're down to 0 again. So, let's go back to detect. So now that I know that that's a spot, the second spot has to be up here somewhere. Perfect. So we found it. Now, to catch. And then one comes down. Oh, no. Oh, okay. I did not actually screw it up before. Yeah, I'm not having a great day with this. So, I was on the right track before. I didn't actually screw it up before. What I forgot was there was one more step. I needed to go back to one of the original spots and then do this again. So that was what I screwed up. So, now that we've done that, now we come up to this spot up here. Use the Choco Sonar. And now we use the Choco... If I can actually get this to work. There we go, to catch. And then this should get rid of all the chocobos. And there should only be one left up here. There we go. So I wasn't wrong before. I just screwed up the last step there. But now we're going to go back to Choco Sonar. Look for a spot up back here. Perfect, found it right away. And to catch. And we'll get our item. I keep doing that on accident. I keep pushing square too many times, but perfect. And for this one, we actually get a couple of items. We get a shell stone and a holy stone. Again, pretty much useless. We're never going to use those in real life, but whatever. The reward that we're looking for is coming up much later. So now then, I was originally going to cut off the episode here, but we've already done 3/4, and we're not even at 20 minutes left, and we're not even at 20 minutes, and that's after I screwed up earlier. So, yeah, might as well keep this show rolling, and let's hit up forest number 4 and see how many. Look, I've got about another 25. I mean, I could go up to 30 minutes if I need to, in terms of time left. And wow, it's a massive crater right there. Yeah, I wonder what caused that. Well, we'll figure out more about that later. But for now, let's continue with the Chocobo Forest. But yeah, I have about 30 minutes or so left with which I can record, and I'm gonna get boxed in there, so I can't go through that way. Unfortunately, I think I screwed that one up. But yeah, I've got about 30 minutes left, so I might actually be able. I mean, if things continue at this pace. Just remind myself where the forests are. Yeah, the next 3 forests are all in the same area, all in the same continent. So what I'm probably going to be able to do then, if I can continue this pace, is I should be able to do all the forests today, but then I'll finish up the actual side quest tomorrow. And I actually, or not tomorrow, but I'll finish up all the side quests on Monday, and that actually works out well because I realized there were some things I wanted to show off before I moved on with the plot in terms of using the Tonberry GF, which we picked up a couple of episodes ago, to allow us to do some useful draw grinding at this point. Obviously, none of this stuff is mandatory, but there are some spells that will be useful for us later, especially with some optional side quests that are going to come up later in the game, and I want to show off how you can get some spells that might be useful for dealing with some enemy encounters later. So, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll kind of try to finish up the forest today, then I'll finish the entire Chocobo side quest next time, and along with that, I'll show off some I'll show off some optional things that you can do to help make the rest of the game a little bit smoother for you. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Now you can see there's a Chocobo Forest there, but that's actually the last one, and I don't want to do that one now. I want to continue to work in the order that I have in my notes. Now let's see. I'm on the... So the next forest, I believe, is in the northern portion of the central continent now. Yeah, so I need to get up there somehow. Now let's keep moving in that direction. And I always forget where the coasts are in this forest, or not in this forest, but on this continent that I can actually use to climb up on. Yeah, we got one there. So hopefully I can reach. Yeah, I should be able to reach the spot, that forest now. It's in, like I said, it's in the northeastern tip of the continent. And so we're actually going to, you can kind of see it over the mountains there. So what we're going to have to do is park right here, and then we'll be able to run up into this one. And this forest is actually probably the most annoying forest of all of them. And when I was thinking about not being able to do this all in one episode, this is in particular the forest that I was thinking about, and you'll kind of see why that's the case in a minute. Yeah. But I guess since I'm doing this now, I can go ahead and explain some of the importance, or why this is also another reason why this is useful. Much later in the game, and this is as best I can do without spoiling it, later in the game we're going to need to use a chocobo, basically. And it's nice to have already caught it so that later in the game we won't have to try to do it again. Now what's really annoying about this forest in particular is that the solution itself is pretty simple. All you gotta do is find one spot, and then you're done. The problem is that one spot is really, really small. I mean, for the most part, but most of the forest you don't have to be, was that it? Nope. You can kind of fudge it a little bit. You don't have to be right in the right spot. But for this forest, you have to be right on the right spot. And if you are not, and it's a very, very, very small spot. So you can kind of see that I am flailing a bit here. I want to make sure that I'm in the right spot. It might actually be further to the left. And it's very tempting to want to think that you're in the right spot, but if you aren't, then a chocobo will show up and steal your whistle, and then you gotta pay for another one. So yeah, this might take a minute, unfortunately. Let's see. So it's supposed to be, so this is where the chocobo, okay, so it's supposed to be over in this corner, I think, actually. And it's pretty much right at the back, I thought. We're close. We could tell. I can tell we're close. So what I might do here is, this is starting to become a little frustrating. I do want to keep this episode moving, so I might cut out my commentary for a second, and then just listen to what's being said here, or listen to the noise here, and see if I can use that to help me out. So I'm going to go silent for a second until I find the spot, and then we'll continue from there. And you just forgive some of the background noise you're hearing here. This is me reaching for my headphones and putting them on and whatnot. Alright, looks like we found the spot. Hopefully this is the right spot. Please be the right spot. Oh, yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, that one's annoying. Come on, Chocobo. There we go. So yeah, again, forgive the noise. I'm kind of shuffling some stuff around, putting my headphones down and whatnot. But yeah, that forest is really annoying for that reason. It is just really annoying to find the right spot. No, just move. There we go. Yeah, so in order to find the treasure, you have to move. Yeah, try to challenge this kid to a game of cards. Then he'll move out the way, and then you move on to the spot where he was at, and then you can get your reward. Or you should be able to. Why is the Xena not working? What's going on? I can't bring up my Xena. There we go. What the hell's going on there? There we go. Okay, but now that I'm back in the spot, it's not working again. Alright. Please work. Yeah, this forest is kind of a pain. Unfortunately. And so, yeah, and all you get for it is a Protect Stone and a Meteor Stone. But the other thing I should point out is that you always want to ride the Chocobo out of here. If you do not, I think that it just completely negates the progress that you made, and then you're basically screwed. So you don't want that, especially now with that forest, because that forest is really a pain. Anyway, now that we're done with that, we get off the Chocobo, and and I'm just doing a terrible job at using my controller today. But yeah, now that we finished that, it is time to move on to the next forest, and I think that was the one that we just passed a little while ago. Yep. It's in the southwestern portion of the continent. And yeah, then after that we'll only have one more left, so let's get to it. Oh, no, wait. Can I not cross over there? Nope. Looks like I'm going to have to go around again and take a... Yeah, we're going to have to go and cross over the ocean here to get back on to the continent. This is a very fragmented continent, unfortunately. And there's the forest that we're looking for. Yeah, we are in the southwestern tip of the continent, so perfect. And so this is actually hard. This is supposed to be harder than the last one, but because I have a map, it's not going to be hard, because it's only hard because you have to go to a couple of different spots. So what makes these forests challenging is that there are multiple spots, and you saw this with the second forest, or the third forest I went to. There are multiple spots that can do the same thing. So I was saying before that I can go to one of two spots to start the puzzle, but then if you don't know what you're supposed to do, you can end up going to one of those spots in accident at the wrong time and think that's the right spot. So that's what makes it a little bit challenging. But let's see here. So Chocobo is there, and I need to come. Yep, there we go. This is the first spot. Yeah. But yeah, what's wrong with it, what makes this one more difficult is that there's actually 5 spots where you could go to pick a Chocobo, but you only need to have 3 of them to solve the puzzle. And so you go to one of the wrong spots at the wrong time, or you go to one of the spots that does the same thing as another spot. It just completely throws you off. But now I need to go to a spot over here, right beside Chocobo. Perfect. Alright. And then catch. And we can catch. And then that adds another Chocobo. And then we need to go to one more spot, which one of those spots is right here. And then we use the Xena one more time, and that I keep pushing square twice. But yeah, then we want to come here, and I think that should do it. Nope, I need to do this spot again. I think I need to do this spot again. So, Chocobo Sonar. Yeah. That's what makes, yeah, this is So this is where you get. This is where. Wow. Got a little bowling action going there. But yeah. So what's tricky is there was a second spot. There was another spot. So there were 4 steps that I took, right? For that third step, there was a second spot I could have hit. But I had to come to that last spot for the last step regardless. And so that's where it can get kind of tricky. But nonetheless, we figured it out, and go back to Sonar one more time. Xenar. And we get a reward for it. And this is, I mean, of all the rewards, of these kind of lame rewards, at least these stones are more useful. I mean, again, I'm not a big fan of attack spells, but at least we get, whoa, I don't want to leave. But at least we get the better attacks. We get all of them at once, so it's not completely useless. Just mostly useless. Alright, so that means we have 1 forest left, and we're doing pretty good on time, so I should be able to finish this forest, and then we can call the episode from there. Now, one thing I want to talk about as I'm traveling is I've been talking a bit about, so one of the few things I've been talking about consistently over the last couple weeks is what I'm thinking about doing for my next project. And so what I'm thinking about doing, let's see, this one is a bit tricky. I have to remember exactly which part of the continent that this is on. I know it's in the southeastern corner, but I have to remember exactly how to get there. But anyway, one thing that I've been talking about a bit over the last couple episodes here is thinking about what my next project's going to be. And one thing that I've kind of settled on over the last couple of days as I've been recording this is that I really think that I want my next project to be one that... Oh, that's not the right spot. Darn it. Got kind of tricked there. But I think I want my next project to be one that doesn't have voice acting. And, you know, the reason is, as you kind of saw there, I kind of ran into some awkward moments where I can't really listen to what's going on in the soundtrack, because if I do, then it's kind of delayed on my headphones through the Elgato, and then it just sounds all messed up. And so I'd be worried about interrupting the cutscenes if I tried to do this. If I tried to do a game with voice acting right now. So I'd rather not do that. So I'm kind of looking at games that don't have voice acting. One game I'm really thinking about doing with that in mind is Xenogears. But again, I'm open to any number of games along those lines. I think I want to stick to a game without voice acting, at least for now, and try to get used to recording more before I start doing games that have some more complicated dynamics going on. But yeah, this is our last forest. It's supposed to be the toughest, and it's the toughest because there are 5 spots here that you have to hit, and there is a precise order in which you have to hit them. So there are no spots that can kind of double here. And that's the first spot right there, so we'll go to Xenar. Then the second spot's going to be right behind our little Chocobo friend here. So, nope, I don't want any of this. No, forget it. I swear the controls today have been not the best. For a game that's not supposed to have... Really? For a game that's not supposed to be that control heavy, it's been kind of annoying. But, so now we hit spot 2. Then we need to go and use our sonar again. Spot 3 is kind of over here in the rocks. So we want to use the catch. Use our Xenar again. And then spot 4 is going to be back here. So sonar. Supposed to be back here somewhere. Let's see. Is it further to the right? Oh, not again. Wait, was that it? Alright, looks like that was it. So then we go back to our Xenar. Come back to this spot. And then there's one more spot that we need to hit, which is a little bit closer to Chocobo here. No, 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 no. Wait, did I do it? No, I didn't do it. Darn it. I screwed it up. Alright, let's just leave and come back. I forgot to switch back to the Choco Sonar. So one more mistake before we're done with this side quest. But, yeah. Not my finest showing, but we'll figure this out. We'll take care of this. Uh-huh. So let's try this one more time. Nope, don't need to explain. Alright, so sonar, spot 1. There we go. Xenar, done. Spot 2, I probably don't even need to use the Xenar for this. Right here, Xenar again, done. Spot 3, over by the rocks. Wait, we were just there. Okay, spot 3. Let me just make sure that that's the right spot. There's no way to walk up these rocks, right? Okay, good. Just making sure. So, then Xenar again. Spot 3. Spot 4 is in kind of a diagonal from Chocobo, so it's supposed to be back here somewhere. So I think it's a little bit closer, maybe. Alright, so this is supposed to be spot 4, I thought. Let me just make sure that there's nothing back. Nope, there it is. That was the spot. That's what screwed me up. I didn't go far enough back. And then the sonar again for spot 5, which is where I think we screwed up, where I screwed up last time. There we go. And this should finish it up. Come on. Perfect. Alright. Wait, what? Alright, there we go. Now we talk to this little Chocobo. Mama's gonna show up. And then we come all the way over to this corner here, so sonar. And then there's our item. The Chocobo to show up. I'll come over here. And and then we're done. Finally done. And then we're gonna ride the Chocobo out of here. And then we are done. We're done with this side quest, thankfully. And before we go, there is one thing I want to show off. Let's ride this Chocobo. Where do we want to ride it? We want to ride it over here to the desert. I think that's where the desert is. Yep. Because there are a couple of things that we can. There's something I want to show off here. So I'm going to get off the Chocobo, and I'm just going to run around. I have encounter none on, but if you run around this desert long enough, you will run into a random encounter. And this is a second spot where we can run into that UFO. So I'm going to run around here, and look at that. Ran into an encounter. So we got our UFO to show up, and then we're good to go. Now, one thing that I want to point out about this area as well is that there is another enemy that you can run into here, which is very useful. They are cactars. And what's nice about cactars is that they give you very little experience, so I'm talking like single or double digits, but then they also give you 20 AP per cactar, so it's a great place to learn experience or to gain GF abilities in a short fashion if you want to. I'm not going to because we don't really need to at this point, and there's going to be a better place to do that later. But if you really want to learn abilities now, and you might, because it is possible for you to start your level grinding now. I'm not going to show that off because I think it's not particularly efficient. But if you wanted to, you would need to learn all the bonus abilities for the GFs you have. So Leviathan, Carbuncle, Brothers, Ifrit, and Siren. You would need to learn all their bonus abilities, and the Cactars would be a great way to do that without needing to card enemies forever, which is what you'd be looking at otherwise. Now, one thing I want to check out, just because I'm kind of OCD and I have a very bad short-term memory, is I want to just double-check to make sure that I did ride the Chocobo out of this forest, because for some reason I'm feeling like maybe I forgot, and if I did, I'd have to do this puzzle again, which would be really unfortunate. So I'm just going to run in here real quick just to make sure I did that. And then, assuming that I did, then we will stop the episode here. So, let's see. Yep, yeah, we're good. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we caught that Chocobo. So, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cut off the episode here. Next time, we will finish up the Chocobo side quest by getting our final reward. And then once we've done that, I think we should be good to go. Until then, this has been Marathon Hurdler. I want to thank you as always for checking out my videos, and hopefully I see you next time.